I know all the games are big, 7 games left. I acknowledge that. But Morgan, this feels even bigger. A rematch between the Kings and the Knicks. Both teams are sitting at 44 and 31. The Knicks have a lot to play for. They are trying to get that top 4 spot, trying to get past Orlando. And the Kings are holding on hopes that maybe, just maybe, they can get into the top 6. It's on TNT. Kevin Harlan's on the call, too. I'm excited.
Big game vibes. Big game vibes.
Big game vibes.
There you go.
Last time these two teams played, the Knicks won that game 98-91 in Sacramento. The Kings shot just 35%. They struggled offensively, in large part because of what the Knicks defense was able to do. But I think we both walked away from that game feeling like, hey, the Knicks are playing well, and the Kings matched their physicality.
Yeah, and right now it feels like the Knicks aren't playing as well, right? They've lost the last couple. In that last game against the Miami Heat, though, Dante DiVincenzo had one of those big games, right? Having over 30 points, and then Jalen Brunson, he's going to do what he does. He had a 20-10 game. But you look at this team, and you always just think of them in their physicality. And when we did see that last matchup against the Sacramento Kings, we loved the physical play by the Sacramento Kings, right? They really tried to match the tone of the Knicks. They didn't get punked. And I love the way that one went, the competitive nature, both teams scoring under 100 points. You know, was it the defense? Was it the physicality? Either way, now at Madison Square Garden, I hope it's the same vibe that we saw here in Sacramento.
One big difference from the Knicks' perspective, OG Anunoby has not played a game since that game in Sacramento. He's dealing with the elbow issue. Julius Randle's still out, so the Knicks are going small, small, small with this lineup. And they've lost 3 in a row now. They're going to be in games because they play hard. And that's like just their DNA. Their starters are going to play heavy minutes. They're going to be tough. They're going to make life more challenging. I'm interested to see how Sacramento deals with things, because the last time they played, you didn't have Trey Lyles. You didn't have Sasha. Kevin Huerter was still in the starting lineup. The Kings have shifted a little bit now. Of course, no Malik Monk now. Huerter's out for the season. Keon Ellis is in the starting lineup. I am eager to see how the Kings deal with Jalen Brunson, who is one of the best guards in this league. He's having a hell of a year. I think this Kings defense is starting to click a little bit, so I'm eager to see it.
That is exciting to look forward to, because I think even in this last game, it felt like no one had an answer for Jalen Brunson. I mean, he went off, but on top of that, I remember when they kept putting Davion on him, it felt like he still had that size advantage, knew exactly how to elevate over him, shoot over him once he got into the paint. So you're hoping that the Kings make those adjustments, which I'm sure they will, now that it feels like it's almost a different roster, you know, different rotations here. You saw Alex Len even have a big game in that last game. So even if the Knicks do go small, are you still allowing, you know, Alex Len to get his time, you know, Domas being
I think you do. I want you to still go big against this group, because I don't like when you're like, hey, let's try to match up with them.
Thank you.
No, make the matchup with you. I think one of the exciting prospects that the Kings have been using the last couple of games has been Keegan Murray at the 2-guard spot. No, they're going to start the same group, but I like some of it when they go big, when they've got Keegan at the 2, maybe Sasha and Lyles out there with Sabonis or Len. It's like, it gives you some legit size, and I think that could help you against this Knicks team, because they may be smaller. But, you know, like Josh Hart's...
They play big.
They play way bigger than they are. They do. So I think having some size out there is going to help. And I don't know. I do like how the Kings have played the last couple of games. I think the perspective I'm having, though, is the 2 teams that they beat. Utah, I mean, look, they're young. They're starting multiple rookies. Not good.
Right.
They play hard, but they're just not there yet. And that's okay. The Clippers are a mess. This Clippers team is 11-11 since the break. They're near the bottom in defensive rating since. And so I think this is going to be a good test for a Kings team that has been moving the ball well. You know, Sasha and Lyles have definitely impacted things. You mentioned Alex Len. Davion Mitchell has been incredible.
And again, this is in the last couple of games that we are seeing a lot of these improvements, especially. And so it's not to say that it's a whole different Kings team that is playing the New York Knicks, but at the same time, there are different pieces, and there's different pieces that are making different types of impacts. And I think if you can slow down the main guys on the New York Knicks, and it seems like in the last couple, if it's Jalen Brunson or Dante DiVincenzo, well, then you're going to have a good chance, especially if you're still attacking the rim and being tough in the paint.
And OG not playing. Last game he played in Sacramento, he was still having the elbow issue. That's been the problem with him since coming over from Toronto. but he impacted the game defensively.
Yes, he did.
And him not being in the lineup, I think, is a big-time deal, even for the Knicks long-term. You start projecting out for this group, it's like, I think they can win a first-round series with this group as it stands, but they wanted to make a deep run. They're not going to do that without OG and Julius Randle, big picture. But this group is good enough to be in the top 4 in the East, and they have something to play for in this game.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really fun to see how this kind of unfolds. Some positive numbers for the Kings. Since March, they're 7th in defensive rating.
Love that.
They're 10th in offense, 8th in net rating. Since the All-Star break, 12th in defense, 10th in offense, 12th in net rating. There are some things that are encouraging, especially defensively, where they're winning games even when they're not shooting the ball well. So after getting punched around by Dallas for a couple of games, I've liked the response, and maybe I'm getting a little too excited.
Don't get too excited.
I'm more hopeful than, how about this? I'm more hopeful than I was a couple of days ago. Not suggesting that I think, the Kings are going to go on this road trip and crush it. This is a tough road trip.
Yes.
The Knicks, Celtics back-to-back. Then you got the Nets and OKC before coming home when you've got New Orleans, Phoenix, and Portland.
It's going to be a tough stretch right here. But, I mean, there's a lot of teams that have a tough stretch at the end of this season. So I think you're exactly right, though. I think when you look at this game and you look at how they played the Knicks the first time, you go, okay, do that. Now, do that with what else you've been adding on to your game in these last 2 games. You're seeing complete team efforts from the Sacramento Kings against the Jazz and then also against the Clippers. So that's just the type of energy you need to bring on this road trip. First night of a back-to-back, get it done. You know, it's not worth being like, do we have to save someone's energy? No. There's no saving energy right now. It's like,
to me,
do or die.
If you can get 2 on this road trip, you'll take it. Get 2 games on this road trip. You get 3, we might be throwing a parade down J Street. I think another key, though, for Sacramento, and we say this every game.
What? Oh, push the pace.
The pace was not pushed in that first match. Now, part of that, the Knicks were relentless, right? Putting great pressure on Fox. And that's what teams have been doing more often with Fox, right? If he's inbounding, taking the ball, they're putting full court pressure on him, making him war constantly. So the Kings have been playing him more off ball now to free him up. The Kings' pace has to be there. That ball movement has to be there. Make this Knicks team work. I don't think their depth is great. Tom Thibodeau is going to be playing his starters 40-plus minutes.
Yep.
The last thing you want them to do is play the Knicks style, where they're just playing at their pace. Make them play at your pace. That's essential. It's going to be tough no matter what, but if you want to give yourself a chance to win, you have to play your style.
Love it.
Let us know what you think about this game. Think about this road trip. Any predictions? Drop them below. Knicks fans, if you're watching this, let us know how you're feeling about this matchup too. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. We'll be live after the game.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The